state-given human rights, because they can be taken away by the very state that has been given to them in the first place. I've never seen 7 Liberal Democrats in all my life. It's absolutely marvellous.
Order! Continue.
I would ask the Liberal Democrats and others in this place, what is wrong with you? Do you not believe? Do you not believe?
We've got a list for you. You've only got 10 minutes, mate.
Do you not believe this country is good enough to make its own laws? Do you not believe that the country that since Magna Carta has developed the principle of common law and with its faults perhaps been the best ever developed by civilization, do you not believe we're good enough to make these rules, or we stick with outdated conventions preyed on by human rights lawyers in this country? I move this bill will restore democratic trust and faith in this once great nation. Thank you.
The question is, the honourable member have leave to bring in the bill. Ed Davey, up to 10 minutes.
Thank you, Madam Deputy Speaker. The speech we've just heard totally misrepresents the European Convention. And the proposer's failure to mention the huge benefits and rights the European Convention has brought to millions of British people says it all. For those attracted by the argument we've just heard, let me give them one strong reason to think again. Russia, under Vladimir Putin, is the only country to have withdrawn from the European Convention on Human Rights. Now, maybe that's what attracts the honourable gentleman for Clacton to it. After all, he said that Putin is the world leader he most admires. Russia, a country where those who oppose the regime are mysteriously pushed off balconies, and where, if it isn't enough to murder a political opponent like Alexei Navalny, Putin has even jailed lawyers who dared represent him. Things not allowed under the European Convention. But as we've seen a leading political ally of the honourable member, Nathan Gill, imprisoned for taking Russian bribes, perhaps we shouldn't be surprised that the Reform Party is so keen to follow Russia. And besides Russia, Madam Deputy Speaker, where else are people's hard-fought-for rights under attack? Trump's America. Of course, the US isn't part of the European Convention, yet its citizens have benefited from something similar, the US Constitution, designed to check the power of tyrants and protect the individual from the state. And just like the honourable member's desire to remove people's rights here, his hero, Donald Trump, is doing the same in America, attacking the courts and the rule of law, even inciting a violent mob against the US Congress to overturn an election. But of course, the honourable member for Clacton has called President Trump an inspiration. So if you want to know the member for Clacton's intentions for British people's basic rights and freedoms, just look at Putin's Russia or Trump's America. Madam Deputy Speaker, that isn't patriotic. It is deeply un-British, and he should be ashamed. Unlike the honourable member for Clacton, I am proud of our country. I love our country. I am proud that Britain helped create the European Convention on Human Rights, championed by Winston Churchill himself. The Convention protects the very people who need it most, our elderly and most vulnerable, so they may live and grow old with dignity, our children, so that those facing horrific abuse have better protection. It also upholds our freedom of speech, so that the press and public can criticise those in power without fear. And it protects our peaceful right of protest. 70 years ago, Britain became the first country to ratify the Convention as a leading voice on the global stage for human rights and the rule of law. That is our history. That is who we are. That is Britain at our best. And yet the honourable member for Clacton wants us to forget our history, dump British values, undermine the rule of law and row back on people's hard-won rights. I say no. To help get over how wrong the Honourable Member and the Reform Party and the Conservatives are on this, let me give some examples. Madam Deputy Speaker, when people died because of poor care at Stafford Hospital, their families secured change because of these laws. When British troops died in Iraq because of poor equipment, the Supreme Court ruled that the government was accountable because of these laws.
And they were also
After 96 people were killed in the Hillsborough disaster, and the victims themselves were blamed, and their families finally got the truth because of these laws. And when the Metropolitan Police failed to properly investigate the horrific assaults of John Warboys, his victims were able to take the police to court because of these laws. Time and again, the European Convention and its British twin, the Human Rights Act, have brought justice for our people, protected them from gross misconduct and unfair treatment. These laws help individuals hold the powerful to account, to hold governments to account. These laws can get justice when the elite and powerful cover up and abuse their power. So it's clear, isn't it, Madam Deputy Speaker, the Honourable Gentleman isn't about standing up for the individual, for the ordinary person, for the people with no voice. Madam Deputy Speaker, the Honourable Gentleman is the friend of the elite and the powerful. And Madam Deputy Speaker, if we do not defend our human rights here at home, how can we possibly persuade other countries of the importance of human rights for their own people? If we do what reform wants, the biggest cheers will come from the Kremlin and from Beijing, from Tehran, from Pyongyang, and from dictators and authoritarian regimes the world over. That would be a betrayal of everything our country stands for. And his plan would damage our country's ability to shape our world. Leaving the convention would be another nail in the coffin of Britain's unique soft power, where we have so often in the past influenced world events for the better by being part of international agreements, by upholding international law, by leading. Now, of course, the Honourable Gentleman has made his career by damaging our country and our influence. Remember how he led the campaign for Brexit with his Conservative friends? And we know what a total mess that's turned out to be. He and his friends argued Brexit would cut immigration, but immigration has gone up. Just look at how badly he's betrayed the people he claims to speak for. Brexit made the small boats crisis possible. Before Brexit, we effectively had a returns agreement with every EU country, the Dublin system. A deterrent that worked. And now undocumented migrants are trying to reach the UK because they know they can't be returned. Because, thanks to the Honourable Member, his Brexit ripped up Britain's rights to return people with no right to be here. And people who should have claimed asylum elsewhere in Europe, they may shout, they caused it. Now let's look at one of our closest allies, Madam Deputy Speaker, the Republic of Ireland, and look at a vital part of our country, Northern Ireland. The Good Friday Agreement references the European Convention 7 times. The guarantee of basic rights and freedoms in the Convention was fundamental to securing the Good Friday Agreement, to ending the conflict, to stopping the bombs, to getting peace. And yet he stands here today, prepared to risk peace in our country. How utterly shameful. Madam Deputy Speaker, as we approach Remembrance Sunday, let us never forget the sacrifices made for our freedoms today. And let us never forget the lessons that greatest generation of British people learnt and passed on to us. I think the veterans will notice what's the barricade. Our greatest generation, Madam Deputy Speaker, showed us that we needed these laws to protect people from state abuse, to stop authoritarian government and tyrants, and to defend people's rights. The post-war generation knew how costly far-right-wing populism had been for our country and our people. So, Madam Deputy Speaker, for our greatest generation, for British people today, and for our democracy, vote against this bill.
The question is that the honourable member had leave to bring in the bill. As many of that opinion say aye. Of the contrary, no.